All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and start with this. Feds indict two Cleveland Guardians pitchers for alleged sports betting and money laundering scheme. That's an article by Kevin Dotson, CNN, that was updated yesterday. It is going down. They look like the set it off girls. Only one of them has been currently, I guess, put behind bars. I guess he's in custody. I don't know if he's in one of those cells or not, but that is where we're gonna start. Let's get it. All right. So my first question is, who thought this was a good idea? All right, so we are signed up or on track to make possibly hundreds of millions of dollars in this game if you include our endorsement, if you include our side gigs. Not only the fact that I was about to go into free agency, and all of a sudden now I am on the run seeking employment in Venezuela. I don't know, man. For some reason, this seems kind of, I don't know. I have a couple of different opinions about this, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Ty. When you saw this news about Emmanuel Clase and his boy Luis Ortiz now being indicted for some scandal regarding gambling, first thought pop into your mind?
First thought that probably crosses my mind is why, and then I start to wonder what these pitchers' salary is. I immediately go to that. I'm like, so is there were they not getting paid enough and they were in some type of financial bind?
Okay.
I mean, things happen. Things happen, and those type of things happen in real life, especially amidst the times that we live in right now. A lot of people are struggling, and maybe it's not just relegated to the non-sports stars. You know what I mean? Like this is not just an isolated event either. This is something that traverses sports. I mean, this is happening in the NBA right now. There was a whole group of people that got indicted and probably still are getting indicted for all of the gambling and fraudulent activities that have been going on in basketball. So here we are in baseball. We've got two individuals that have been caught. Mind you, the word is caught, which could very well mean that they are not alone in this practice. So yeah, man, there's a lot to unpack, man.
Well, let's make some things clear as we kind of approach this subject. So, Emmanuel Clase is on, I think, the 5th or 6th year of his $20 million contract, where he's getting an AAV of just about $4.55 million a year, something like that. He was coming to the end of his contract, looking into, I think this year, actually, I think this was his free agent year. Fact check me if you like. Which means that he was more than likely going into a possibility he could get paid even more to go to a different team. However, his stats had been falling off starting last year. I would say he got kind of knocked into reality when Aaron Judge and the postseason kind of finally came to him. I believe Kerry Carpenter as well kind of brought some sense into him in that postseason last year, and he just hadn't looked the same this year. Emmanuel Clase, it was all a surprise earlier when they had got suspended without pay not without pay, but they had been on what they said administrative leave or something like that. The same thing the police get on basically whenever they do something stupid, and we're still getting paid while they were being investigated. But the statements by Emmanuel Clase and them was, oh, I did nothing, I would never do nothing, the usual blah 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 blah. Well, some details have now come about, so I feel like I can share this with you, and then I had some opinions on this, so we can talk about something else real quick. So I would like to read to you an article by Dane Perry. This is written from CBS Sports, all right,
Okay.
in which there are more details, and maybe this will make some of this make a little bit more sense. So, title: Guardians pitcher Emmanuel Clase, Luis L. Ortiz indicted for allegedly rigging pitches in MLB betting scheme. Each pitcher could face up to 65 years in prison if convicted on all charges. So let's go ahead and read through this real quick.
That seems a little.
It's up to. It's a high up to, but hey, but I got thoughts about that too. Hold on. So let's go through this quickly. Cleveland Guardian closer Emmanuel Clase and right-handed starter Luis Ortiz. So that's their starters and their closers from the start to the back. Now, that's crazy. And Clase is a whole star. Like, let's not pretend. Like, he gets the music and all of that when he comes in. So yeah, it's a whole other thing. Anyway, I believe I was okay. Here I was indicted on all charges stemming from alleged gambling misconduct, specifically manipulating bets on individual pitches. The U.S. Attorney's Office for Eastern District of New York announced charges on Sunday and unsealed the indictment at the federal courthouse in Brooklyn. Ortiz has already been arrested in Boston, while Clase is not in custody. The Department of Justice has charged the pair with wire fraud conspiracy, honest services wire fraud conspiracy, conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery, and money laundering for conspiracy. Whew.
Oh man,
he goes on.
That's worse than the Pete Rose effect, ain't it? Because he was just betting on the games, but they're trying to influence the decisions of games. Is like throwing games. Is that what I heard in that report?
It's real hard for me to play the which one is worse. But wait, just listen in, because keep in mind, like I said, my man is going a $20 million contract, which frankly, I'll be honest, is low. But
I was going to say that as well.
He's on the tail end of it. Okay, he's on the tail end of it, and it was signed in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so his big payday was going to be this year, had he decided to continue. Or its upcoming years, but yeah, still 4.5 million. Yeah, it's not a whole lot.
$6 million guarantee. He had also a $6 million guarantee that was supposed to kick in, which they are saying could be affected, or he could lose it all completely if he's found guilty of these charges.
That's a breach of contract. Yeah. Here's
a little bit more information. Luis L. Ortiz's salary is approximately $782,600.
Oh, he got the base.
So he's got the base. Let's. If you're going to read more of the article, I'd like to hear more. There is more before we kind of go into this.
Absolutely, let's delve further. Okay, cool. So let's skip a little bit ahead. But this is important, because this is where I think this reminds me, and not to parallel these because they're completely different, but this reminds me a little bit, Ty, of when they pulled up to Diddy's crib and they went and they confiscated the baby oil and all of the drugs, and everybody was like, what the hell just happened? You know what I'm saying? They arrested everybody but Diddy, and we was like, you know what I'm saying? But we was like, okay, we don't really know what's going on. And then when more information came out, you was like, hold up, this is some shit that's been going on for a minute. This ain't no new stuff. And so this kind of hit me like that. So Clase's alleged back to May of 2023, while Ortiz began in June of 2025, which means he got roped into it this year. This shit's fresh. I know that nigga hot. I know, Ortiz snitched I can guarantee you that, because I believe they took him first. I'm almost certain they took him first, and he was the one sat down first, and then Clase. I'm almost certain, but please fact check me on that. Furthermore, Clase's actions are alleged to have benefited bettors by a sum of $700,000, while Ortiz accrued to the benefit of a co-conspiring gamblers by the sum of $60,000. Overall, bettors conspiring with the pair made at least $450,000 from betting platforms, prosecutors allege. Clase is alleged to have communicated with bettors via text messages during games. If the pair could face up to 65 years if convicted on all charges, the indictment reads: the charges in the indictment are alleged. Or allegations of the defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. If convicted, each defendant faces a maximum of 20 years imprisonment on the wire fraud conspiracy count, 20 years imprisonment on the honest services wire fraud conspiracy count, 5 years imprisonment on the conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery count, and I didn't even know that was a law, and 20 years imprisonment on the money laundering conspiracy count. Let me get this one out real quick. Clase, 27, was one of the two Guardians pitchers placed on administrative leave over the summer while the league investigated potential misdoing. Ortiz was also, here it is, placed on leave several weeks earlier. Both Clase and Ortiz had their leaves extended in late August through the rest of the regular season. They also get into details as to what the actual things that they betted on were, and the manipulation as therefore within that. But just wanted to stop right there, bro. This sounds like a straight snitch job to me. I mean, and I'm not trying to say the man ain't got to do what it is for his family, but here's a dude who's been in it for 5 years, or 2 years, allegedly since 2023. For 2 years, all right. And then all of a sudden, Luis get drawn into it in June and is almost immediately brought into question, which says to me, you fucked it up, bro. You did it. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like he was new to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, learn how to put weed in the bag first, then get money. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is a token of his incapability to do it the way that Emmanuel Clase did. Emmanuel have been doing this. He's been holding it down. And so when they roped him up, which is why he went on leave early, I'd assume, they was like, yeah, tell us everything we need to know about you, or you looking at doing 80 years. They did the whole 48, first 48, bring a bucket of chicken and some pollo and empanada or two, and get him to talk after being chained to a desk for 2 days. I bet, bro, even though they just now arrested him, the indictment, they just start to scaring him, talk about he getting deported, his family going back, he got to give back all his money, all this other stuff. Yeah, man, they freaked him out, and he spilled everything, even though they probably, now, there's more details. The indictment chronicles specific instances in which the pitchers are alleged to have manipulated outcomes in collaboration with bettors. All right, so here's some of the stuff that they saying that they was doing. On or around May 19th, 2023, bettors allegedly made roughly $27,000 on a Class A pitch that was faster than 94.95 miles an hour. On around June 3rd, 2023, bettors allegedly made roughly $38,000 on a Class A pitch that was slower than 94 and called a ball. Okay.
So they're betting on what type of pitch he's gonna throw?
Yes, and that's what that's. So this isn't him saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make us lose the game," right? The whole conspiracy isn't about whether or not he's throwing the game or not. It's with prop bets. It's with somebody being like, in the 4th inning, I bet you that to Dylan Carlson against the Orioles, that Luis Ortiz, I bet the next pitch is a slider. I bet you it's under 95 miles an hour. Okay, and they make the bets online. And sure enough, those bets because they trace these things now. This ain't no back end bookie. Like this is on an app where these metrics end up having red flags. So yeah, this isn't a matter of him getting. This is like it's even more complex because he's not trying to even influence the outcome of the game to an extent. It's just him being able to devise a scheme where he can maybe get a little bit extra money.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
But I mean, it's not even good money. You know, I mean, this sounds to me like I'm gonna look it out for the hood money. Like this is like when Black Rob got arrested for trying to pull off some Ocean's 11 shit, like stealing, like going through, like trying to rob a museum for like when after he had deals with Bad Boy. It's like, you know, there's other ways. It sucks that you still are considering those options, but it sounds to me like a dude who's hasn't left the street.
well, yeah, yes, absolutely, yes, and yes to all of those things.
Yeah.
I think it. First of all, 65 years is excessive. Like there's no there.
Yeah.
No, they didn't kill nobody. They didn't do anything to children. They didn't to me, those are the egregious things, right? That require, like, if you said, hey, this guy murdered somebody, gave him 65 years. All right, cool. But to say that betting on outcomes of pitches and you know, it's egregious to a degree, depending on where you're standing. But you know, but I understand how baseball functions, and baseball wants to, you know, especially Major League Baseball in particular, wants to have an institution of that seemingly from the outside looks very clean. And this is bad for the optics of baseball, so they're going to make an example out of Clase and Ortiz, unfortunately. But the even sadder part is that if Emmanuel Clase was doing this since May of 2023, somebody put him on.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? So does the trickle down effect the same way the NBA went? Because like if you see what's went on in the NBA, they caught one guy, then they caught another guy, then they caught 2-3 more guys, then they started becoming referees. It was like, oh, everybody's in the because listen, you have to understand, and when I say understand, I'm talking to us right now. I'm talking to us as citizens, as just people out here just working our asses off and everything. Everybody does not have this moral compass that like it's just you're on nun and priest time. You're not. Everybody's not moving around like that. Like, so if there's an opportunity that doesn't necessarily hurt someone else, then there are people that would probably pull up on that opportunity. If my homeboy called me and said, "Hey, yo, you want to make $25,000?"
Before you indict yourself,
No. I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm just saying because I could see how this thing kind of, you know, happens with a Luis getting involved as well. Luis is making $782,000 in an MLB where players that sit right next to him are making millions. So it's you have to live on your pay, right? Like on your pay rate. So if he's making $782,000 and Clase is like, yeah, man, you know, I just got off the phone with my cousin in DR. You know, she needs some money real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and do this prop bet thing real quick and send her some money. He's like, what's that? And you're like, oh, yeah. It's where, you know, I do this thing. He's like, what? You know what I'm saying? Well, can I do it? He's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, just gotta bet your money, boom, boom, boom. And then you do it, and nobody gets hurt. and you come out of it and you're cool, and then the opportunity presents itself again. I can see how you could be drawn into something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you're not hurting any in terms of physically, mind you. I know some people will be like, oh, but he's doing wrong and it's just wrong. I understand. But this, I think for these two guys this story is gonna continue to unfold because the threat of 65 years is scary. That's like,
oh yeah,
that threat, that in itself is scary enough to get most people to tell. Most citizens for sure are telling at when you say 20 years, most 10 years. Some people be like, hold up, whoa, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'll tell you everything. Yeah,
let me speak a little bit more about this and check out the private chat right quick. So here's what the league has to say. Or excuse me, this is what the U.S. State Attorney, Joseph Nocella Jr., who also is the one over the the other folks over there, I think in Utah, wherever it is they're having the other issues with basketball and gambling. He's over that case as well. So this is the statement. Professional athletes like Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase hold a position of trust not only with their teammates and their professional leagues, but with fans who believe in fair play.
Mm-hmm.
As alleged,
like it's wrong.
As alleged, the defendants sold that trust to gamblers by fixing pitches. In doing so, the defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians and Major League Baseball of their honest services. They defrauded the online betting platforms where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. Integrity, honesty, and fair play are part of the DNA of professional sports. When corruption infiltrates the sport, it brings disgrace not only to the participants, but damages public trust in an institution that is vital and dear to us all. Today's charges make clear that our office will continue to vigorously prosecute those who corrupt sports through illegal means. With such proceedings, defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty. Okay, so the one you were talking about, it's Terry Rozier.
Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, and Billups. Damon Jones. Let me see. Yep. Wow. Okay, yeah. Sports gambling has been legalized. So the question is because this is also the same year that Pete Rose is being reconsidered for Hall of Fame status, right?
Yeah, Pete.
So
Pete, this is
he had only waited a little bit. Yeah.
Oh man.
Listen. I'm okay. So here's the point I wanted to make. I personally can see, like you can see, how this can happen, because the first thing that somebody who has to work a 9 to 5 and has to work a hard living says is, okay, you, Emmanuel Clase, you are currently earning over $1 million. You know, it's 4.5 million, but even if it could be a tiny bit over $1 million, just you're earning over $1 million. Mm-hmm. So why do you need $20,000, $30,000 here and there? You are in the major leagues, which it takes so much hard work to get to. Why would you jeopardize that? And all of that's valid. I'm not here to argue it. I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly. I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to attempt to justify what he is doing. I'm going to make an attempt to see if I can speculatively explain what he may be doing. My theory is that Emmanuel Clase, as he kind of he carries himself like a big dog, probably got a lot of mouths to feed that are not just under his roof. I suspect that a lot of these dudes have a lot of weight put on them when they get in these positions. And sometimes they decide to try to quell some of those thirsts that people are throwing at them by saying, hey, can you help me? Especially with, this hurricane. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, that there's a justified reason, even if there's a natural disaster. But there's a lot of stuff that happens in which you're trying to basically, say, look, I'm not going to, I want to look out for the hood, but I'm not there yet. All right. That 4.5 mil, he don't get 4.5. They got the 20 million is split with his agent. And now, you best believe their living habits have changed. It's no longer like it was back in the Dominican Republic. Now he's probably got $1 million house. I probably shouldn't speculate because we could probably tax it.
I mean, no telling what like I said,
right.
Whenever you get into these types of situations, Vince, it's always going to be something because it again, for us from the outside looking in, we're like, you're making this type of bread. Why? What is a measly this or a measly that? Because that doesn't equate to what your salary is. But again, we don't know the circumstances. Look, at the end of the day, Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz could just be some dudes that just don't care about the ethics of baseball. They just here to play the game that can pay them in a way to get them, where they're at. And that's totally possible. We have people who commit evil every day, just hateful stuff. So I'm not gonna what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna appear to understand why or why not they did what they did. What I will say is this: baseball is very, very, very conscious of their image. They are going to make these two individuals pay for this slight that they have to deal with. That I can most certainly 150% agree that is something that's going to happen. 100%.
Well, I mean, that would be different, right? Because to my knowledge of the cheating scandals we've been exposed to, in most instances, we haven't seen anybody serve time for their cheating, right? They've been exonerated. They've been thrust. Pete Rose was banned from baseball. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But I have yet to see, even in the Chicago Black Sox scandal, with all of that bullshit, where like 8 or 9 of the team all decided that because they was not getting paid enough, they were going to go ahead and just allow themselves to be used as a tool for the gamblers to come up on, as long as they got some of the money. And they only started snitching when they wasn't getting paid. Like, even with that, they didn't get arrested. They came clean in front of the feds, and they decided to just kick them all out of baseball. I have yet to see anybody actually serve time. This will be different. If they get any type of convictions and get any time behind bars, get any kind of legit, I'll be surprised. Now, again, what we're speaking about, we could say is a victimless crime. They're going to say it's not because they force some people to lose money, but they do that every day when they play baseball just by itself. So I think that the complexity of it could be alluring, right? Hey, look, you're not really throwing the game. You throw what? Emmanuel Clase is a closer, right? So he doesn't come in every single game. I mean, excuse me. First of all, he doesn't come in every game because he's not always necessary. All right. He don't pitch necessarily every single game in a row, especially if he's not getting the save opportunity, right? So you're talking about maybe a possible of 9 pitches if he gets them all off, if they don't get pop flied up or grounded out, or if you don't, you know what I'm saying, maybe get a base hit or God forbid, a Aaron Judge home run. So it's kind of it's like, if I always thought about this. You tell me what you think about this, and then let's move on real quick because I know we got short time. If I'm walking onto the field, right, and I'm, let's say, Devin Williams, and I'm running in from the bullpen, right, And while I'm warming up, some dude's like, "Hey, bro, I got $20 on you throwing the first pitch as a fastball. Please make sure you pull up." And I'm like ignoring you, right? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Or what if I'm like, all right, I got you. You know, do I go down? Like, is that like a punishable offense? Like, if some dude puts a bet on me because he said, because, and I'm like, sure. Even though I was gonna throw even though I was gonna throw a fastball anyway, right? Like, is that on the same? Now, obviously, this is more elaborate. You know, I'm not trying to compare these two, but I'm just wondering how, you know, how do you weigh the level of ethics that's being violated? Does it have to be an electronic bet? I mean, is that the biggest mistake that he made? Is that he did this stuff in a manner that it could be traced? Because I can guarantee you right now, there's shit like this going on that is not as highly traceable by these apps, which I think is one of the issues that folks have with the whole Barry Bonds not being let into the Hall of Fame, because there's people that are in the Hall of Fame that did PEDs and all that, but they just didn't get put out on blast, or it just wasn't as big of a deal. So I feel like that's contributing to it as well. Like, it doesn't feel as much of a big deal when you talk about one out of possibly 9 to 12 pitches that does not have any impact on the game itself. It's literally just, you know, hey, when I go out on the field, I'm going to start with my right foot, you know. Oh, hey, I bet you tonight that Clase comes out on his right foot first. Do you go to jail for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, my mind is askew.
Like I told you, like I said before, man, baseball out of all of the sports, I believe, has a clear image that they want to uphold. And I remember when we were dealing with the whole HGH thing, where all of these different players were testing positive with the HGH, and then baseball went through this whole revamping of testing and making sure that was like totally, like, it's like we cleaned all of that up. You know what I'm saying? And then we back to being, you know, America's favorite pastime and all of those things. I think the same thing is about to happen. Yo, baseball, once they get what's going on with this all, you know, kind of legal, you know, from the legal standpoint, solved, then I think they'll probably come after Clase and Olive, what was his name? Luis
Ortiz.
Ortiz. Come after Ortiz for some type of monetary
Oh yeah. You think?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that you were like earlier, you said, I don't know why, you know, why I've never seen anybody, you know, go to jail for anything like that. The reason that there's a possibility even for jail is because of the fact that the charges are fraud. They're being accused of fraudulent behavior from multiple, I guess, sites. Whatever prop bet sites they were using are, you know, are probably all going to, you know, administer some type of charge or allege some type of charge. And then you also have to deal with the governing bodies. You know what I'm saying? Which is state to state. So whatever state they're in, so they're in where's Cleveland, Ohio? They're in Ohio, right? So then you have whatever the governing the state things that apply to fraud.
Well, I unfortunately not, because this is federal. This is a federal offense. This dude the dude charging them is not in Cleveland. He's in New York. He's in the same place that they are. Like I said, they're charging the guys that are going through the basketball shit. So yeah, this is
the same guy.
This is
okay.
Yeah, the same dude.
So this was a witch hunt. Then. Yeah, this is a witch hunt, and this is a witch hunt.
Okay, those are words that I don't know if I would use. You know what I'm saying? But I hear what you're saying. I
It's the
think
same guy.
it is
It's
the
the
same
same guy.
guy, but what it sounds like is this dude at the Department of Justice is tasked with looking for, like you said, these types of things. You call it a witch hunt, but that's his job, is to find witches, and the witches got to do a better job of witching. If you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I mean, listen, you know, that's that. I mean, I ain't trying to knock nobody, but you know, if you gonna be out here witching, then we're gonna need you to witch quiet, because when you get caught like this, it's not a sign of good criminal IQ.
Oh man,
I
this
mean,
is
but
sad.
we'll see what happens to you. But one thing I know for sure is that this is not Pete Rose. This is not Charlie Black Shoe, whatever his name was, shoe Charlie, whatever his name was. You probably look it up real quick, but I think his name was Charlie Shoestrings or something stupid way back in the day. Yeah, I don't know, it's whatever, some dude from the early 1900s. This is not the same guys who didn't serve time. These are two dark-skinned Afro-Latino gentlemen that they're throwing the book at, who already at a time in which, you know, folks of Latin descent are not necessarily being heralded in highest regard. This is the feds of an administration that does not necessarily want you in the country, and now would probably be the worst time for you to have to face any federal anything with somebody who needs a translator of Latin descent. So I good luck, Emmanuel Clase. I mean, no disrespect, but woo, it's gonna be a tough one for you here coming up, man. I hate to say it, man. It's not looking good for the ball. Not looking good, but we'll move along. Wow, that man is woo. No, man. Oh wow. And the funny thing is, he still ain't arrested. He's still out there. He's still looking for a job. He's trying to get one in Venezuela, but they ain't having that. But anyway, let's move it along for a couple other things for your brain. Let me put it in the brain. Hey, nothing saying. It's my dog. It's my man. Let's do it. I'ma do it like, whoa, man. Hey, all right. So, wanted to holler at you about this real quick, homeboy. I wanted to see what is your thoughts about as we discussed the other day, the rise of viewership in baseball right now. I don't know if you heard, but baseball, I believe, the World Series kept, if I'm not mistaken, a viewership consistency of about 50 million plus viewers over the course of the baseball game. That's all 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. That's something to be happy about. That's a good job on this endeavor. Now, I have bad news for you, bro.
What's that?
I think that's an anomaly. I do not think that we will share that same success in the coming years if we don't have the same set of circumstances. And right now, it's not looking likely, if I'm keeping it real. All right. So my belief is that we are now seeing the result of 3 countries, in particular 4 countries. Let's keep it at 3. 3 countries that are coming together to provide all this viewership. All right. You got viewership in Canada, viewership in Japan, and your viewership right here in the United States. A lot of that viewership is coming from interest of the people that are playing. All right. And when people say, oh yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays, they got a whole country, you got to think about that. That means a lot. Like maybe in the offseason, maybe in the regular season, maybe not as many people care. But when the country's baseball team is now in the World Series with the United States best representative, then yeah, you're going to get all of those viewers. All of those viewers. All right. It said that, if I'm not mistaken, what I have here is that there were 18 million viewers in Canada alone of the 50 million. Okay. Of the 51 million or so that was always in consistency. Now that's just for game 7. Of course, let me sure I specify this. But let me ask you this. If you take Vladdy
out of that World Series, do you get that 18 million? If you take Ernie Clement, George Springer, if you take Max Scherzer and everybody on John Schneider's side of the dugout out of this equation, do you get this same level of interest? And also, if you take out Shohei Ohtani on the other end of that spectrum, you take out Yamamoto, you take out Roki Sasaki, do you get that Japanese interest and get the entire country that's interested in baseball watching your team? Question is, do we see a Cleveland Guardian, Seattle Mariner World Series garnering this same kind of interest? Do we see a Houston Astros, Texas Rangers, which can't happen because they're both in the same league? I get it. But do we see them garnering that same interest? Even to my own demise, even to my own unfortunate reality, do I see a St. Louis Cardinals versus Miami Marlins type of ordeal, type of a game garnering the same kind of interest? And the truth is, no, I do not. No, I do not. So what say you? Do we solve this? How? I tell you how. In my opinion, it means we need to increase our international scouting. And now that we know we're able to garner the world's attention, let's get more of the world's attention. And let's not limit it to just Japan. Let's not limit it to just Canada. Let's not limit it to Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Let's not limit it to just these places where you can get these folks for cheap, or because you can get them because the flight is cheaper. Let's explore all aspects, all in the world that exists in which you may be able to find yourself plentiful talent. And that includes the great continent of Africa, even some places in Europe, which I don't think that Europe is as open to it, because Europe feels like we stole this child's game from them. It used to be called rounders, and now y'all made a big deal out of it. We have cricket over here, Mike. Okay, go ahead, do your thing. But I think, if anything, this is a testament to what it looks like when you include more. The inclusion element shows that it provides growth at the end of that process. And so that's why it's not just, the Dodgers and the Canada. Well, no, recruit. Go get you an Ohtani. Go find you a Seiya Suzuki. Go get you a Joseph Dane. Go get you a Vladdy Guerrero. Make it so that you are the team representative. It doesn't have to just be the Dodgers. All right. I see that the Cubs tried to with Seiya and Shota. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them, but they were the ones that ended up kicking off the 2024-2025 season in Japan against the Dodgers. And why is that? Because of their international appeal. There should not be only a few teams that are able to do this, and it shouldn't be only a limited number of locations in the world where you would be attracted to because of the reach that you have based on the product you're putting out there. So that's what I got to say.
I mean, I can't disagree with you. I mean, you basically touched all the points. I will say this though. I think it had more to do with the actual games. Also, I think whether you would have had all of those countries involved, if you would have got a poor product, then viewership would have went down. But people, if they saw the first game and it was just not a good game, and it was boring, and it's like and nobody did anything amazing or anything, people are not going to stay tuned into that for long. Like, people's attention spans is just not there. Like, people, social media has us all over the place. And 1 minute you could be here, 1 minute you're there. So I think it had more to do with the storylines. You get Yamamoto pitching, amazing 2 games. You get Ohtani knocking multiple home runs and doing amazing things. You get Vladdy, being the hero and saving the day. You get these storylines that make people interested in watching. And if you don't have those storylines, then people don't stay involved. There's too many other things going on right now. So do I feel as though it would be 51 million viewership for said Cleveland Guardians and the Boston Red Sox? I mean, not Cleveland Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians and say the Padres. It 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 all depends on where baseball has made the turn or not. Whether it's made the turn or not. Like we have the new what is it, ABS system, yeah,
ABS.
ABS system, the ABS system that kind of is interesting, and it does bring an element to the game that is like, oh, that's cool, like you don't have moments where you're just as a fan pissed off because your team just got robbed, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. So there's a lot of elements to baseball that still need to change. I think they do need to go and see the blueprint for what the Savannah Bananas have done over the course of the last 2 to 3 years. And the way that they've become, I'm not saying you go full Savannah Bananas. I'm saying that those elements have fan interest. Those elements are things that are entertaining to the eye. If you can add those certain elements, you may increase your visibility across the market, and become one of those sports like NFL, Monday Night Football, Sunday night. I think there's ways to brand it to where it starts to get more accessible and more noticeable by everyone, because I think baseball still has this demographic that is not inclusive of the entirety of the country. And if we ever get to that point, then baseball will truly be America's pastime, but it hasn't been.
I think that baseball has been going through for quite a while popularity cycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the Chicago Black Sox scandal turned a lot of people off the baseball back in the early 20s. All right, and then here comes Herman George Babe Ruth, who starts hitting a bunch of home runs all out the place. All right, boom, and then Babe Ruth gives yield to Mickey Mantle and Lou Gehrig. And now you get your Yogi Berras. And then all of a sudden, when things start to get a little dry again, boom, here comes Jackie Robinson in 1947 when they cross over from the Negro Leagues, and then it maintains its popularity. And then it kind of lulls again after the lockouts in the late 80s and 90s, excuse me. And then you get summer 98. Then in the heat of summer 98 with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, now you got the dynasty Yankees coming in to power through the whole league for the next 3 years, only losing to Arizona in 2001. So it goes through its waves. Right after that, I think it kind of fell off. Right, it fell back off again, and I think what we're seeing right now with Ohtani and with Vladdy and this international appeal is a new wave and a new way to get to that wave, using some of the same old school tactics like Babe Ruth, who was a slugger and was a hitter. That's what we're seeing in Ohtani. We just never saw it with our own eyes. I just want to present this as Exhibit A real quick with regard to this last year, not this year, but last year's statistics. So this is 2024 when the Dodgers played the Yankees. You notice what it says right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and remove us from this real quick so you can just see exactly what it says. It's showing that there was an average of 15.8 viewers, but this is the number that I thought was the most intriguing. It's right there. 30 million. 30 million. Which, if you recall what I said about this year's viewership for Game 7, it was 50 million because there's 18 million from Canada. So you take Canada out of the equation. And with regard to this, I'm not even going to sit there. I don't even have to speculate how much of this is. This is Asia and North America. Now, when you take Asia out of that equation, Are you going to get these kind of numbers? So that's why I'm saying what we're seeing right now is kind of an anomaly. It's a product of the combination of all of these different elements, the Japanese element, the Korean element, the Canadian element, the Dominican element, and the American element. But if you take away that salad, then you get a different, you're going to end up with a different taste in your mouth. And I don't think we're going to see, I'm going to say it right here, and this might be controversial, but I don't think we're going to see the same Dodgers next year. I think that the Dodgers they cannot, if they do, it won't look the same at all. Because like Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, these dudes are now they're creeping into their mid-30s. And it shows. It shows, especially with like Freddie Freeman. Whenever he runs, it looked like it hurt. You know what I'm saying? Their star player this year, Mickey Rose, is approaching 40. Yeah, I know he wasn't a star player, but you get what I'm saying. Like he said, like all of these dudes. I don't see the Dodgers having the same level of success. I think that their claim of a dynasty gives them credence to not win next year because they've already done it 3 times in the last 6 years. And I think once we have an absence of superstar Japanese power and superstar Canadian power, we're going to go back to the 20-30 million that we were getting before. And that would be unfortunate.
Well, there is an element that you're totally, like missing, and that is the element of a three-peat in baseball. This year is going to be, that's all they're going to be talking about from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Can the Dodgers three-peat? Can the Dodgers do what only the Yankees and I think maybe one other team has done? But can the Dodgers, are the Dodgers the team that will go and win 3 in a row? This will be the storyline from the beginning to the end. Now, if I know what I know, which is that everything still remains the same in LA. Dave Roberts still stays there. The GMs, the owners, they're all the same. The players for the most part will still be there. There may be some fresh additions, but the main stars will still be there. The core will still be there.
Well, go ahead, my bad.
The core will still be there, which
True.
The core to me is Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts. That is the core. Now, all of the other players, the Kikes, the Teoscars, the Tommy Edmonds, the Miguel Rojas, the Max. I dare say Max is one of the core too. Like Max, I feel like is always one of the guys that's overlooked. But Max during the regular season was integral in their success a lot of games. But anyway, but he's also expendable. Yes, he is expendable. All of it is listen. You have your big 3. Your big 3 are Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. Those are your big 3. All of the other parts are interchangeable. Well, now listen, they said, and now look. And you know what? I'll take that a step further because I said your big 3, but what I failed to mention was the pitching staff. So Yamamoto is definitely he's going nowhere. You do not part ways with Yamamoto. He's already locked into a contract, so he's definitely not going anywhere. You got Rory Sasaki, who just basically signed with the team. He's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. You keep trying to make him into Rurouni Kenshin from the anime.
I know. I do. I always do.
I got you.
Yeah. I'll be like Rory Sasaki. It's like
you want to carry your soul.
That's Roki. My bad, Roki. But so you have key pieces to build around and not lose your identity. And that's the most important thing. As long as Dave Roberts is the coach, or excuse me, not the coach, but the manager, I always want to call him coach. But as long as he's the manager, as long as you have your core, as long as you have your pitching, got your pitching already kind of established. And I didn't even mention Snell. I think Snell's locked in for another 2 years, right?
Yes, 2 years. Yes, 2 more years.
Yeah.
And
So
Dave Roberts till 2029. And
yeah. So everything is the listen, the writing's on the wall, man. It's everything is there. They literally made it to the World Series as a 4th seed. So it's not that they don't have to have the best record in the league. They don't have to be number 1 in their division to win a World Series. They could just make it in. And if they make it in, they're the scariest team in. So that's like kind of like what they did. They went under the radar this year by not being the face of the division and slid in like they 4th seed takes out
Cincinnati. Come on,
a Cincinnati team. No, they play Cincinnati first.
Cincinnati.
Then they beat.
It should have been New York, but it was Cincinnati.
Yes.
And they beat the Phillies, which was impressive.
Yes.
And I think Ohtani had a bad game with and Yamamoto had a bad game with the Phillies. And then it was the Brewers. That was the big shock for me, if I'm being frank, because the Brewers were so hot. Yeah, they were so hot going into that game. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they weren't. They
were cooling off.
They had cooled off.
They were cooling off,
but
they had such a hot second half. It was such a hot.
I feel like that Cubs series because
took a lot out of them, right?
It not just that it took a lot out of them, but it because again, that's the division opponent. So of course I knew it was going to take something out of them. I didn't think that that they were gonna like put up as much of a fight. Honestly, I remember telling you it was fairly easy. Yeah, I remember. Well, you did, but they jumped out to a 2-1. I mean, it was like 2-0, and then they won. No, it was like 2-1. And then they wound up coming back, and then they had to win it 3-2. But my thing was they exposed themselves. Like it was like the Dodgers got a chance to see what it was and how to beat them based off of how the Cubs beat them. And that's exactly what they did. And they swept them. And that was the surprise for me. I was like, well, damn, you didn't even put up a fight. Like, so that was and that speaks a lot to the youth of the Brewers. And then also I'm not going to say their manager's bad, but I just think that in that moment he didn't make the right adjustments. I mean, like you have to make some adjustments when you lose 2 at home and then you lose 2 on the road. Like you can't if you get swept, that means you never understood what was going on. You never could figure it out, and that's why you got swept. Like every good coach, every good manager knows that adjustments need to be made. Look at Dave Roberts and the adjustments he made in the World Series, and lineup change that turned you know what I'm saying, those losing days into winning days. Literally won him a championship just with a couple of little movements, and then Mookie goes from I was just playing terrible, and I wish I could say it's on purpose, but it's just not. I'm doing the best. And then next thing you know, he comes out, and Mookie winds up being the hero in 1 or 2 of the games. So like that like come on, man. Like these things. This is baseball.
All right. The only thing I'll say is that the Brewers don't have the same level of depth. There was also issues with Churio and his true health, who's rising at the time as well. They definitely don't have the biggest shock for me was their assault of Freddie Peralta. The Dodgers pickparted Freddie Peralta away and left him at the side of the road for filth, and that was their ace. And I think that once that happened, it kind of was like one of the death nails, because it's like you can't bring in Miz. Miz actually held his own, but I think that's because they brought in an opener for him. If I'm not mistaken, they
It
had
wasn't on the pit. It was yes, Peralta got assaulted. And yes, in both games, I think he played twice and he got assaulted both times. But the thing that I think he played in the game 4.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he did. He started the game 4 and they got his ass out of there. They hit 3 runs and I think 2 or 3 runs in the first inning.
Yeah,
so
he looked really bad. Yeah.
But it wasn't just that. It was the fact that the Brewers couldn't hit nothing. They could not get. They couldn't garner any runs. They couldn't garner any runs, and that was crazy because all year long, all we saw them do was put up huge numbers on when it came to runs.
All year.
Runs batted. Well, most of the year. So, but yeah, man, this is I don't even know how we got on the Brewers. But
I was just saying basically that the Brewers. I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't know how we got.
We was talking about. I think we was talking about the Dodgers. Excuse me. I think we was talking about the Dodgers. And then I brought up the fact that the Brewers
they got swept.
They got swept.
And I stand on my business what I was saying before, and that is that the Dodgers, this magic act that they've been pulling off these last couple years, where they damn near make it by the skin of their teeth, is not going to be as they're not going to be able to do that at the same rate next year with the same staff. All of them being in their mid-30s, Mookie included, Freddie included, Shohei included, Max. All of these cats, like they're gonna have to really do some serious revamping if they want to continue. Teo's showing signs of severe regression in the outfield. At least the bat may still be there, but it was sometimes he swung at some pitches that you were like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna sit there and act like I could have hit it, but it just didn't look like the same pitches that he would have swung in earlier in the season. And so I don't see the same staff doing the three-peat, Ty. I don't see it. It ain't like I felt last year where I was like, they finna go all the way. I don't see them having that same level of success next year with this same core. If they do, they'll have to mix it up. We might not see Mookie in the top 4 because Mookie had a terrible year.
Just so you know, and I don't remember their exact ages, but when the Yankees did it, I do believe Sabathia, Pettit, all of them were older. Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams.
Nah, Bernie wasn't. He was in his 20s. Back in the 90s, in the late 90s.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when they went. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, and Sabathia wasn't with them. Sabathia wasn't with them in 98, 99, and 2000.
Who was it? Pettit. Andy Pettit.
I think it was Andy Pettit. I didn't.
Listen. At the end of the day, as long as they keep their core together, those other parts are interchangeable. You have a manager who has a game plan that seemingly works every year, and to come back and win 2 games on the road is phenomenal. Like it's like, I mean, look, you can't take anything away from Toronto, who also won 2 games on the road.
3.
But
hold on,
no,
you talking about? I'm sorry.
They won 2.
The Dodgers won 3 games on the road.
Yes. So, but everybody's going to be talking. Baseball season starts popping up again, and I really after we get through the free agency trades and talks and developments, and because that's what we're going to be talking about in the next few weeks and months, is where is this player going to go, the best spots to land, what team needs to make a move. I think ultimately, once all of that, the smoke is cleared and everybody's done what they've done, the talk is going to be whether or not the Dodgers can repeat. And I'm here to say yes. I do think they can. I don't think it's nearly as desperate as you kind of make them seem like. Oh, they all old and they all sick. They can't do it.
I mean, I
think
no. So I want you to make
this
sure
year
you
they
don't misconstrue what I said. I'm not saying the Dodgers can't do it. I said that they cannot do it with the same formula that they used this year. They can't. The top four may not be the same top four. That's all I'm saying. It's time to start integrating some youth into that top four. You see, they had to move Mookie back. They're already starting to change it, to change the appearance of what we knew as like the starting five for the Lakers or the Bulls or whatever. Like, they got to go get a Rodman now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't let this, what they have right now is insane. Next year, what I expect, this is my earliest hand prediction, is that next year they'll make a few moves, but they'll be shocked like the Bulls were when they played the Magic, when the Magic had Shaq, and then they had to go out and start retooling. You know what I'm saying? And
I can only see them doing like two moves, man. I don't see a lot of moves for the Dodgers.
No, sir.
Yeah, I listen. I don't see. I know what you're saying, but I don't see the Dodgers making a lot of moves. I could see them making maybe 2 or 3 moves at most, 3 at most, where they improve the pitching staff, and then probably add maybe 1 or 2, because I think Kike is out. Kike is made a name for himself, and I think he's going into commentating probably in the next year or two. I could absolutely see Kike up there on the panel with Alex.
I
mean, why not? Why not?
Well, because there's no money in that. Like, there's the money pales in comparison from being a commentator to being a dude who actually gets millions upon millions of dollars to step on the field. Like, the minimum is $700,000 in the majors. Like, there's no way.
Do you know that for sure though? Or are you just talking? Because I know. I'm just saying. I know that certain people garner different paychecks and pay and pay.
No, if you're called up to not the moment that you get called up, but once your minimum contract proposal can only be $720,000 if I'm not mistaken.
As what, a commentator?
No, as a baseball player.
No,
it's like a dude who rides the bench.
No, that's not what I said. I said he'd probably go into commentating, and you said why when it's no money in that.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying is, that's not the case. It depends on who you are and how much the platform wants you. Because look, you got a prime Tom Brady commentating for, I think, Fox. I think that's who's got him.
Come on, man. If I were you, you would say, see, this is what you do. Kike is Tom Brady now. Come on now.
What I'm saying is Kike has been on a campaign since they won the
World Series.
And since they won the World Series, and people seem to be entertained and like Kike a lot. He's so that's why when you have a personality like that, and then you're people like to watch you, then yes, these different radio stations and platforms and TV outlets take notice, and yes, they do pay top dollar.
No,
okay,
top dollar.
Gronkowski has a contract.
Gronkowski, these folks. Look who it is that Fox is using right now. Fox is using Derek Jeter, Big Papi, A-Rod, who all had success before 2010. You know what I mean? That's who they're clinging to. They're not about to shift everything up. On TBS, they got Jimmy Rollins. I think my man Granderson and Pedro Martinez. They're sticking with an error. I haven't seen too many folks come directly out of winning the World Series and translate directly into the media sphere. However, Kike is in his mid-30s. He's coming off of a great World Series where he showcased that he's a clutch player. He doesn't have to be you don't have to worry about whether or not he's going to have a slow heart rate during a high pressure game. So he still has years left in the league, if I'm not mistaken, years with multi-millions in his contract. I don't see Kike just bowing out. And I think if you ask Kike right now, I'm almost certain of it. In fact, one of the interviews, they asked Kike, they was like, yo, are y'all going for 3 feet? He was like, yo, well, they going for 3 feet. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, you know, I'm unemployed right now. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, but if I get picked up on another team, then good luck to them, because the team I'm with is gonna win. You know, but
man, Kike saying that the Dodgers will pick Kike right back up, bro. They'll pick Kike back.
Okay, so here's.
That's why I'm telling you, it's not a lot of moves.
This is a sentimental thing, but at some point in time, the Dodgers are going to have to decide whether or not they want to have this whole split personality where they have staff members that only function well during the postseason, that have terrible numbers during the regular season. They're probably going to want to find somebody who can give them good numbers in the regular season and good numbers in the postseason, instead of having to worry about whether or not they have to let somebody sandbag their bench and their roster throughout the year, instead of letting somebody else develop and be a little bit more consistent. You got 2 players like that you're dealing with, Mickey Rowe and Kike, that were phenomenal in the World Series, that were awful in the regular season. You can say the same for Mookie Betts. They don't want to go through this again. This issue is their last year bullpen issue.
Hey, I wish I had more time to debate this with you, because I really would go back and forth with you on this one, because I've already told you before that like that only losers care about the regular season. Only losers. Winners care about the big games and the postseason. I told you that before. You can't have a dynasty if you care about the regular season like you do. Like you can care about it enough to get into the playoffs. I need to get into the big dance in order to show everybody that I'm the best dancer here. But that's another topic for another discussion. Let's wrap.
All right, man. Fine. We got everybody here. Appreciate you pulling up. If anybody did, like, comment, all of that good stuff. And we will catch you on the flip with more of the, I don't know what we're going to, I thought.
Chocolate balls, man. It's chocolate balls.
I don't like that no more. I don't like the chocolate balls. I got to keep that up. This is going to have to be something else. But whatever it is, we'll come back and we'll we'll talk about.
We'll talk about my chocolate balls.
It's not. We're going to figure it out. It's going to be something anyway. All right, y'all. Hey, we appreciate y'all pulling up. Until next time. Stupid as hell.